So we
Not work.
here. How you doing?
I'm all right. All right. Thanks. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome. Welcome to Raw and Uncut.
All right. It's my type of show.
Yeah. So let me just share with you what Raw and Uncut is all about. It's just what it says.
Okay.
It's raw and it's uncut. And Raw and Uncut is about, I truly believe that other people's stories help other people somehow, somewhere. And that's why Raw and Uncut was came to life. Okay. So I definitely want to hear your story. I want to know who your boy Live is and just welcome your boy Live to Raw and Uncut.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? All about trying to inspire and motivate people in any way I can. So, I fit right in with the idea of the show. You know, your boy Live, I'm an all around type of guy, artist, you know what I'm saying? Brother, friend, you know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur, motivator, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a lot of titles, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make things happen, you know what I'm saying? For myself and for those around me, try to create spaces of opportunity, where we can do better out here.
That's right. That's right. There's a lot happening out here in our world today, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
so we need as much help. This world need as much help as it can get. And yeah, so I want to be a part of that bridge, doing it through Raw and Uncut and other areas. Like I'm an entrepreneur too. So you say you're an entrepreneur as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well,
What do you do?
I have my music side. That's nothing but the best entertainment. You know what I'm saying? That's my music production company. Where we deal with a lot of different facets. From visuals to audio production. You know what I mean? Artwork. I mean, whatever you can think of that a person might need in their phase of their career. That's what we do. We're able to help you move along those lines. I'm a solo artist myself. I have a group with my brother, them Foul Playboys. Shout out to A-Lot, the analyst. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the music faction right there. I have a radio show slash podcast called Track House Radio, where we like to
Mm-hmm.
cater to, I don't want to say the underdogs, but, we like to create a space for people, no matter what level of success that you're on at the time. You know what I'm saying? You could have been
Right.
in business for 10 years and bubbling, or you could have been in business for 3 months and, you got a story to tell. So, we like to create a space for people like that, you know what I mean? Because there's different levels of success. And no matter what level you're on, sometimes it needs to be heard, you know what I'm saying? Or your story needs to be told. So, that's Track House Radio. The underlying thing, we do indie music. We like to promote and support indie music. So that's the underlying theme, no matter what. We interview other people. We have different guests like authors or cooks or hairstylists, stuff like that, But the underlying tone is still music, their thoughts on different music, stuff like that. They're free to bring maybe a friend or a relative or somebody's music that, that does do music, and bring that to light at the show. So the Track House Radio show, you guys can tune into that. I also have a sportswear clothing company called DeVille Clothing.
The what?
And
What's the name of it?
DeVille Clothing.
The Ville. Okay, I like that. Okay.
And my hometown is Amityville, so that's kind of where that came from, DeVille Clothing. And we started off with just like t-shirts and hats and stuff like that. This year we expanded more into like a fall wear, we got the long sleeve tees, the hoodies, a couple other things like that, and then coming into the summer, we're going to revamp the t-shirt and hats, that we initially started with, different colorways, different color, different designs, excuse me. And yeah, so that's those are my main three occupations outside of just trying to, keep this boat afloat, so that's what we do.
Well, you're busy. You're very busy, and that's awesome. That's awesome. Being an entrepreneur, it takes a special person, a different kind of person to be an entrepreneur, because it takes a lot of dedication. You have to have a creative mind, and it's a lot of work. It truly is, but it's worth it. And actually, you become a part of being an asset to so many people that need your service. So, I mean, that's wonderful. All those different, venues that you have going on. I think that's totally awesome.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
You still
So
there?
yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you see? I can't see you, but I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I think I had a little signal issue. I'm trying to fix that right now. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good. So I see your boy live. I see. And I just want to ask you because you pretty much talked about what you want to do, and that's your mission of what you want to do for the world, pretty much, right? Through your music, your clothing, all the different, businesses that you have. Tell me exactly though, who does your boy live represent? What do you represent actually?
I represent the person that can make something out of nothing. The person that doesn't conform to uh, normal ways of doing things. You know what I'm saying? I represent the person that thinks outside the box and takes chances. You know what I'm saying? And understands that nothing's promised. But the only way that you're gonna possibly accomplish anything is by taking a chance. You know what I'm saying? I like to view myself as that kind of person. I do the things that another person maybe wouldn't, or maybe they'll be a little hesitant to at first. You know what I'm saying? So I like to show people in different ways that anything is possible. And it really is. Depending on, I don't even want to say depending on what you're trying for. It's just the fact of trying. You know what I mean? The effort. You know what I mean? I know a lot of times people find themselves in situations where they feel like, the world is over, or, that cloud won't get from over them. You know what I'm saying? So I like
Mhm.
to show you that, yeah, there is a brighter side. You do got to keep pushing. One more day. You know what I'm saying? One more chance, one more try. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a person that gives up easily, if at all. You know what I'm saying? To me, there's that saying, where there's a will, there's a way. That's my mentality totally. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to figure it out. So I like to be that person, you know what I mean, for people around me, to help them figure it out, to reassure them, you know what I'm saying, that, what you thinking, or what the vision you see is possible, you know what I mean? So I like to think that through my endeavors and the different things that I do, you know, it'll kind of motivate a person. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't have the same dreams and aspirations that I do, but it does take the same amount of effort. You one foot in front of the other, to get going. So that's what I represent. The people that feel like there is no way. You know what I'm saying? I like to be the one to open the door for them if possible.
That sounds awesome because you know what? As I'm hearing your story, hearing you talk, um, you represent taking chances.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. I mean,
Yeah, because you know what? Well, you know what, Live? Actually, when you think about taking chances, right? Like when you think about taking chances, because being an entrepreneur, you know that it's always a chance. right? Or whatever it is that you come up with, your music, your clothing line, whatever it is, there's a chance that you're taking.
Mhm.
Most people, what I've realized is that most people are afraid of taking chances.
Yeah, very much so.
So, and also what happens is people may want to do it, but fear is what holds them back. You know, fear holds them back. So, and fear, when fear holds you back or fear appears, that's when that depression and anxiety and stress kicks in. When you in your life as being an entrepreneur and you're taking chances, how do you deal with that? Being a man, because you don't hear, because you know what's happening in our world. There's a lot of depression and anxiety and stress out here, right? Because everybody trying to get to the top, but so many people are afraid to take that chance.
Yeah.
But you're not. So how do you overcome that, or how do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It just kind of, the things that I always seen for myself, I never seen any other way to try to attain them besides going at them. I'm not gonna say I never had fears or thoughts of hesitation or unsureness about maybe certain things as I'm getting involved. But like I said, I like to feel like I can do anything. So once I'm genuinely interested and invested, I'm all in, you know, because my thought process a lot of times is, if this doesn't work, I ain't in no worse situation than I was already in necessarily. You know what I'm saying? But if this does work, then I could be in a way better position than I was before. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that keeps me going. I've never been scared to take chances. You know what I mean? Even as a kid, doing maybe miscellaneous things that I shouldn't be doing and stuff like that. And, you know, even as I was getting older and those things, you know, I just was never really scared. The things that another person might be scared of, that wouldn't push me to maybe go towards it a little more. You know what I mean? You know, the kind of thing when they say you got to face your fears and overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that somehow was subconsciously embedded in my head. And I don't know. Like I said, I just know that once you try something one time, like even if something simple like playing the lotto, for instance, right? I mean, you might take $1 and give it a shot. You might lose $1. You might take $1 and win $100, but you just never know. And I don't like that feeling of always wondering what it could have been. You know what I mean? And you know,
Right.
so that's my whole thing. Like I want to know, like, and then you know, I see people before me that inspired me or you know, turn me on to different things that I might and I'm like, well, how they get to that point? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, and so then it starts to make me feel like, well, shit, if they could do it, I know I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe there is some differences between us, but at the same time, the one thing that's in common is the effort. You know, so that was just always been a thing for me. I never really been scared. I always did things that somebody else around me wasn't doing. You know what I'm saying? Or I always went and did something left while everybody was going right. You know, and I kind of prided myself on that, like being unique and not being like people. So if that in turn, you know, if that showed in my efforts of different things that I'm trying to get involved with, then you know, it's just what it was. You know, and like I said, it's not like I'm never scared. I mean, there's things that I do to this day that you know I take an extra second to think about before I push the button necessarily. You know what I mean? But I learned over time, you feel a lot better pushing that button than sitting there with your finger like this. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what happens after you push that button, you feel better. You know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. And the fear, you overcome the fear. You start to realize sometimes that maybe it's not as much to be afraid of as you thought. You know what I'm saying? But it's understandable when you're stepping into new worlds, new different things, different arenas, different aspects of life. It makes sense for you to be a little, unsure at times. That's okay. It's just not okay to let it stop you completely. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Because if you ever have dreams, a dream is just that until it becomes reality. But in order for it to become reality, it has to be some sort of effort. You have to manifest it. You have to put some work in to make it happen. Other than that, that dream is going to stay there, or that dream is going to go poof. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Did that have anything to do with your upbringing of how you think?
I would guess so to a certain extent. I mean, all right. So I left home early, like age 16. I left, I moved out, you know what I'm saying? And I started learning the world for myself at an early age. I mean, I left home and left the state. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing, you know what I'm saying? And, up until that point, I guess the things that were instilled in me by family members, people around me and stuff, sometimes you don't realize what you held on to, or what you actually
Mhm.
learned from a person until that it's time for you to use it, or it comes out somewhere down the line.
Mhm.
But being out on my own at such a young age, it forced me to learn a lot of things, even if it was the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Because you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I said, I was on my own. I was going. I'm over here. I'm over there. I'm doing anything that I thought I wanted to do. And I don't want to say I taught myself, but a lot of things I kind of did. You know what I mean? Because I kind of went head in first, and then had to figure it out reverse. You know what I mean?
Right.
And stuff like that. And I'm um, I'm not a person that's it's not hard for things to get through my head. You understand me? Like, some people are hard headed, so to speak, or whatever. So I'm like a sponge. So as I'm going through things, I'm watching and I'm seeing this person do this, I'm hearing this happen, and and I just manifesting this all to what makes sense to me. And I just was able to make it through, but definitely my upbringing, had a lot to do with it, my mom's, and, just different little things. It's not, you'd be surprised. I've learned things from people that wasn't even my family members. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And like the guy at the insurance agency, when I was applying for my first life insurance policy. And for some reason, this man decided to come over, introduce himself to me and start talking to me about just different things. This is the owner. And, he started to talk to me about how he conducted his day and the way he would make a vision board and write notes, and how effective that was to actually see your plans in front of you, literally
Mhm.
written down, so that you could kind of cross out and see your progress as you was going down. Something as simple as that, but for some reason that really stuck to me. And to this day, I mean, that was years ago at this time, but that it still applies to me. I took that and it stuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that that helped me form my vision of how I wanted to be in life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a vision board, I tell you, writing things down, journaling, however you want to do it, it really does make a difference. That's something that I can definitely connect with. Definitely
Hmm.
connect with. So tell me, Live, tell me about how did you get into music and hip hop music? Tell me about that.
Um, well, I started off as a fan, like everybody else, mostly. I got to into rap at an early age. I mean, I was fully engulfed. I mean, you couldn't tell me nothing. When Biggie had the line hanging pictures on my wall, I mean, that was my room. I mean, you couldn't see a piece of bare wall, in
Mm,
my bedroom, as far as that was concerned. And it just went from really just solely just being, overly excited, and just, and then the next thing you know, we just started dibbling and dabbling, me, my brothers, a couple other guys that, we had around us. actually a couple of the other guys, they actually were taking a little bit more serious than I was in the beginning. And then, you know, as time went on, next thing you know, we just started trying it. I just kept finding myself around circles of people that wanted to rap. You know, even when I told you I left home, you know, I was living in New York and I left and I went to Maryland for about 3 or 4 years or whatever, trying to figure myself out, you know. And even once I went out there, you know, the circles that I found myself around out there, it was all music related stuff, you know what I mean? Things like that, you know. So, and it just kind of just started forming naturally, you know. We try a little freestyle here, a little freestyle then, you know. Next thing you know, it's like, oh shoot, I got an idea for an actual song. Like we could make up something about something, you know. And
Right.
we had our first couple of trials like that. You know, our first couple of listeners that were actually like, oh, that sounds like something, you know, sounds good. And once those
Yeah.
things started happening, you know, it just, I guess from there, just the ball just fell off the cliff, you know. We've been rolling
That's
since.
pretty cool. So tell me about your music. Tell me about what does your music represent? What message do you want to, you know, to share with the world through your music? What is your message? What is it about?
Um, well, I represent pain music at its finest. That's what I like to describe it as. Now, I'm versatile in the fact that I can make songs about anything, but
Mm-hmm.
that's where I originated. You know, I started off as a group, and you know, I wasn't a solo member, and that was our claim to fame. You know, social ills, um, just real day to day life. You know, violence. You know, the struggle. You know, things we're going through at home, having to deal without. You know, the feelings that people deal with going through these different emotions that you go through dealing with these different things on an everyday basis, you know, and even being young, still being able having to has experienced already a lot of different things from, let's say, age 14 to 17, you know, it when I look back on it sometimes, it surprises me, um, the things that we thought about and the way we thought about it, you know, in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was like, wow, like we really was in a certain vein with this and we was in it. Like we was stuck to it, you know, and it was working, you know. We like to speak about life in general, right? So life, the word life, we defined it as living in fear every day. And that was something that was like our theme thing, right? And what that means is, and we all do. Some people live in fear of losing their job every day. Some people may be in fear of physically losing their life every day. You know what I'm saying? You know, and fear of how you know how you gonna pay these bills. Maybe you got a baby on the way. How you gonna take care of this baby? You know what I'm saying? So everybody's dealing with that in their own way, you know, every day. And you know, we just tried to focus on those kind of things in a cool kind of way. It wasn't a preachy kind of way, you know, like
Right.
Public Enemy of sorts or something like that, you know, but very informative and just very relatable to the average person, you know, of their daily life. You know, we call it pain music because, you know, a lot of times that's what people are experiencing, you know, on a daily basis, whether you can visually see it or not. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 So your music, a lot of your music is pain music, and on the end of that,
Mhm.
on the end of that pain, right? At the end of that pain, because I'm thinking about your music, and we do, because music makes you feel. And when you're feeling, the emotions come out. And then there's a lot of pain.
Mhm.
But then on the other side of your music, where is the joy? Is there any joy to it? Any happiness, like on the other side of that life of living in fear every day? on the other side of it, where do you see the other side ending up?
Well, we definitely always touched on the more happier side, if that's what you're
Okay.
saying. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was always a thing. I mean, nobody's, we're not running around stressed and depressed all day. You know what I'm saying? But it
No, but
just
it
seems,
is, but it is a lot, but really truly life like, I mean, live like true. Everything you're saying is true though, because every day people do live in some sort of fear. It's the truth.
yeah,
It
no,
really is. And it's getting worse and worse. So what your
oh,
music is on point. So I mean it's true, but you know, just need
well,
some uplift.
when we think about the happier side, then you might hear me talking about a party atmosphere of sorts. Maybe we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about something catering to the females, something
Mm-hmm.
to that effect. I'm a big car enthusiast, you know what I'm saying? So, we might speak about something pertaining to that world. Um, so we definitely have fun within the realm of trying to, help people get through their day with the pain
Right.
music. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we never stuck on that. If we had a project with, let's say, 10 songs, for example, uh at least 4 or 3, at least 3 or 4 of those songs would have been more on the as happier side of sorts. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have,
No, no,
have
no, no. No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying, there's those moments where that kind of, you're arrogant, braggadocious, you kind of want to just, you're feeling
Yeah.
yourself. We
Yeah.
have those moments
Yeah.
too, where
Yeah.
I let you
Yeah.
know I ain't no joke, that type of deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I like your mix. I like it all. I like it all. And no, I don't want you to think at all that I feel the pain. I mean, I know about that kind of music. I because that music actually lifts you up. It makes you have those emotions in the in the moment from hearing music like that. Because that music like that makes you feel. It makes you feel. But then it can be uplifting too, because what you're hearing is somebody else's story. So by hearing that, okay, I'm not alone here. It's other people that's going through this. That's truly an uplift. It really is an uplift. So no, 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 I get that. And I want to say to you also, with hip hop, of course, I'm sure you know from Biggie, because you say how you had Biggie just blasted all over your room, right? Like Biggie was everywhere, hip hop was everywhere, because that's what you was connected to.
mhm.
Hip hop's music today is different than hip hop music when you had like Run DMC, NWA, and Public Enemy, Salt and Pepper. When you hear music today, hip hop, um, I have a grandson and he loved hip hop, but I noticed the difference of hip hop of he now it's like his generation is leaning more toward the older hip hop than the hip hop today because the message the message seemed like it has changed. And even for the hip hop artist who has a positive message, I don't know if it get lost because there's been such a twist in an upside down way that has put like a stigma. There's a stigma now attached to hip hop.
Uh-huh.
How do you view that? I mean, that's just what I've been noticing. How do you view that? Hip hop today compared to back then when hip hop first started?
Well, when hip hop first started, that was a whole nother vibe in itself. That was more like party, because it came from DJ standpoint. That's where it kind
Mm-hmm.
of. So it was like who could get the party more jumping, that type of vibe. Then we moved on a little bit and we started getting the self-conscious kind of music, you know, the self-destructions, you know, fight the powers, the different vibes. The street stuff started to just creep in, and the street stuff has always been the underlying tone of hip hop, you know, especially the reality based, you know, the music. So nowadays, it's still that element is always there. So even with this new generation of music, the street vibe, the things that's happening in the street, pretty much the same game, just different players to a certain extent. And they're just speaking on it in their way. I don't knock none of it. You know, the unfortunate side of some of the newer music, the music is very influential. And even the people I grew up listening to, whatever the case may be, if you related, you might do what these people say to do or say that they are doing, you know, and I think that's kind of the line that's getting blurred with the new generation is the reality ain't setting in. So there's a lot of songs and music about you know, shoot the ops and do to this and do to that, and you know, the drug usage and da da da. And I understand, you know what I mean, to a certain extent, but it's becoming oversaturated because it's like the things that you're saying. There's another side to this, and I don't think you guys want to be involved with the other side. These consequences, these different things that come along with it. But there's a disconnect somewhere where they don't see that this was being said in this song cannot really be happening on a regular everyday basis, and you still have some sort of quality of life. You know what I'm trying to say? And I know that there's this drill music scene that's going on right now, and it kind of started. It was overseas and made its way over here, and a lot of artists in Brooklyn for some reason, and it's like you know, kind of took to it and made it popular on this side. Just as a recent, in these last 2 weeks or so, there were 3 kids ranging from maybe 18 to 20 something. I don't think nobody was over 25. And all were killed. All 3 of them make that type of music, that drill music. And that drill music, the word drill is kind of implementing gunning somebody down or, you know, giving somebody the business to a certain extent. You know what I'm trying to say? So when you listen to the lyrics in these songs, that's all they talking about. You know, spin the block, we're coming back, we're doing it, blah, 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 you know, and then turn around and then that crew over there, they making a song dissing you. Y'all, you know, they on the other side of the neighborhood. You over here making a song. Mind you, it ain't even that deep, probably sometimes. But now y'all got to stand up to a certain thing, you know, the pride, the egos, the people in your ears, this, that, and the other, the easy accessibility of weapons. And now, you know, everybody pumps themselves up to that point. Next thing you know, somebody's dead. Now, he gone. You might be gone because you going to jail. And now what? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I understand there are circumstances where you may have to do what you need to do, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes that requires violence, that requires somebody to get hurt, possibly, you know, even killed. And that's just life. But a lot of times I feel like, you know, in these situations, these kids are pumping themselves up to a great disaster. You know what I'm trying to say? Because you actually were on your way up and you shot yourself in the foot, so to speak. You see what I'm trying to say? You know, and it's sad, you know what I mean? Because all the props and the respect and everything that you garnered up to that point, the support and things like that, none of that stuff can really help you and at that time necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Now, we have seen artists actually go to jail or find themselves in situations and it kind of benefited them to a certain extent. It kind of gave them, especially if they were a street artist, it gave them a certain kind of allure and it kind of followed them through their time if they had to do any. And then when they came home, it was like a badge of honor thing, so to speak, you know, and
Right,
that,
right,
or your record sales went up while you were in jail because now people really believe you do the things you say because of what's happening to you, you know, right now. And I think that's another problem too, because sad enough, some people probably look forward to that being helpful to them. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah,
I know,
yeah, I heard that. Sure, yeah,
yeah, I rap about shooting people that actually go to jail for shooting somebody. Then in that times, you know, that I'm who I say I am, and I deserve whatever accolades come with that. And you know, that's not where it's at. Like I said, I don't knock nobody that feels they need to do what they got to do. You got to protect yourself, whatever your situation is, whatever it calls for. You know what I'm saying? You know, but there are a lot of times when, you know, these situations happen and they ain't no taking them back. You know what I'm saying? You 18 years old and you dealing with you know, a murder charge, and
right, right.
yeah, and it don't go good for you, then what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you think about like you talk about this drill music. I mean, this is new to me, but hearing that you say it actually comes from is international and now it's in the it's in the U.S.
mhm.
Brooklyn right now, and this is so. Is this something like this drill music? Is it something like even more negative than some of the hip hop? Because what sounds like a lot of the good hip hop artists, with a good message like yourself, um, is getting is it getting lost because of this drill music or music like this drill music getting mixed in with the hip hop?
No, because some of the songs, those songs actually got a decent vibe to them. You know, it's really the drill music is a certain kind of vibe. It's actually the way the beat is and the cadence that the guys use. Um, it's it became very attractive to a certain demographic. I use Brooklyn as an example because a lot of the guys that have become popular with that specific kind of music are from Brooklyn. Um,
Okay.
but I don't think it takes away. Anytime music it can be changed, things are always going to change. So if this is
Hmm.
the new sound and it, you know, it's always kind of youth based, you know, the energy of sorts, you know, even though, you know, anybody can do anything at the way things are set up now, you know, age isn't really the dividing factor necessarily anymore. But it's 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 something about that that's attractive to the young kids. It's like almost like ignorance wins. And you know, funny enough, that is the case a lot of times, especially with hip hop, because it's always been the oh shit factor. If you understand what I'm
Right.
saying, you can't believe what's being said. You know what I mean? From like an NWA saying "F the police" to shit. You know, a lot of I could think of a lot of different songs, but you know, just those kind of things you can't. Some people they can't. He has the audacity. They can't believe this is being said and put out there like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay for the music to change and take different avenues or whatever that keeps it growing. But I'll give you an example of how this specific thing maybe not so helpful. So one of the big New York DJs, his name is Drewski, DJ Drewski. He works at Hot 97, one of the big radio stations we got in New York. Just as of recently, within those few killings that I just mentioned to you, he decided and went out and made it public that he's not supporting those kind of records anymore, where these drill records, where these kids are dissing each other. Because like I said, he's playing a record in the city. They on that side of the town. They on that side of the town. You know what I'm saying? And he's not
Right.
intending,
Right.
yeah, he's not intending to get on, but he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're playing one person or one crew's songs or song more than the other, then that could mean something to people. You know what I'm trying to say? They might feel like,
Right.
oh, that's
Right.
because we're better, we're stronger, we're whatever. And so he went out his way to make it known that that's something that he's not going to be. supporting anymore, because it's almost with that thought process, like if we don't play it, they not gonna make it, you know.
Right, exactly.
And you know, I'm assuming some other DJs I haven't heard or seen it just as of yet, are probably going to follow suit. And it's a good and bad thing, because it's like, okay, if these kids are genuinely creative and those songs sound okay, even though what they're saying in them maybe not be the most positive thing, you know, now they're kind of get cut short because they might not have the avenues. Now he's just one DJ out of a whole worldwide full of DJs, of course. But like I said, he's important to the New York scene. You know what I mean? And the rappers that the kids I was just mentioning, they're all from the New York scene. So, you know, it's gonna have to be a case by case basis, I guess. But it's definitely got a few guys to be in the limelight. You know, very successful. I me personally don't know how long it will go. You know, if this is more of a fad phase of hip hop, sort of. But I don't think it takes away any because, you know, whenever the energy gets renewed in any sort of form of fashion, it's only a positive. The way I see it, you know, everything has a positive and negative side. It don't matter what it is. You see what I'm saying? It could be ice cream. There's a positive and a negative to that. Whether, you know what I'm saying? It might taste good, but you're lactose intolerant or whatever the case may be. So it's the same for these new vibes of music. You know, there's a positive vibe to it. There is some fun to it. There is a creative level to it, talent level to it. But then there's a bad side to it too, you know, and guys are losing their lives. Yeah, so.
That's awesome. Well, listen, tell me about your song, your new song that you have. What up? What up, B? What up? Tell me about that. Tell me about that song, because I've heard that there's been some not so good talk about or misunderstanding of your message in that song. So tell me about that.
Well, what up, bitch? That's a record that I got out right now. The title alone, at first glance, is definitely a little head turner, but it was done like that on purpose.
Okay.
So,
well, you got that. You got the head turner. You got that. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, the vibe of the record is a real kind of like, you know, arrogant. You know, it's kind of my attitude towards, like, you know, I know I'm not one. You know, that kind of thing, right? But I break the song down into different vibes. So the first verse, I speak on the type of woman or scenarios involving a woman that we tend to label as a bitch, right? So, you know, the gold digger type, you know, the stuck up type, you know, that type of vibe. Then we switch over the second verse. I actually explain to women specifically, and whoever else is listening, why I chose to use that word. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I go into the explanation of that. The third verse, basically, I drop a little social ills around the now that I got your attention, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I could drop a few jewels of sorts during that third verse to show you where my head is really at. So it's a combination of all those things, and it's not just me. I'm not degrading women. Like, you know, the hook, you know, I say, "What up, bitch? You ever seen a nigga like me?" That's me in my own head. You know what I'm saying? You know, my conceitedness to a certain extent, my confidence in myself. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, that's all that is. You know, and then you know, and it's a fun record. You know what I mean? The visual, the video that we have to back it. It's a very fun record, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, you know, the title has a little shock value to it. But it's no worse than you know, Snoop Dogg and them talking about bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. I ain't go that far. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A person might have said, well, damn, he got a lot of nerve speaking like that. You know, what up, bitch? You ever seen a nigga like me? Yeah, I do got a lot of nerve. Right, that's how I feel. But I didn't go to the point of degrading even when I say in the first verse, when I say I discuss or talk about different types of women, it still wasn't in a really disrespectful way. It was just me kind of just playing on that thought process of that we have towards those kind of women, you know what I mean, that have maybe ill intention.
Right. So tell me, okay, you know what? You got my attention, I'll tell you that, because you know what? This is Raw and Uncut. And
Right.
you know what? It is sad, but it's true. It's real life, right? It's real life. You have different types of people, right? People live their life differently, but for whatever reason, because I would say that most people that live their life in a sense, and especially women that may live their life in a way of being that gold digger or being labeled, stuck up or whatever, right? What a lot of men don't know or don't realize is that those women, and you may, but they are being that person because of something that has happened in their life.
Yeah.
Something happened in their life that made them become labeled as that gold digger, labeled as becoming that stuck-up person, or that B, that what you would call that B, right? So something happened in their life. But again, it's real life. It's real talk. But then when you switch it, like you say, you switch it in the second verse and you talk about, the woman that's on the other side of that character. But then you bring it all together to talk about why you're saying what you're saying, but not trying to, diminish anyone. But yeah.
Yeah, like I said to my ladies, if you're listening, I mean no disrespect, but I was feeling myself, had some shit to get off my chest. Bitch is just the words that I chose to use to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I started the second verse, so let's make that clear. Like, you know what I mean? So now that you understand what I'm doing, now hopefully you'll listen a little more as the song goes on and you'll see, yeah, instead of you being turned down. I've had these areas, like when I perform this record, and of course there's always females there. You got females that's like, as soon as they hear it, they like, what up, bitch? They, you know what I'm saying? Whether it applies to them or not, the vibe is good for them. It's hip hop,
Right.
and the
Hip-hop,
word,
right.
yeah, the word bitch is like one of the most popular words probably in the hip hop vocabulary. I actually have a Too Short sample. Too Short is like the king of the word bitch, and I actually have the little sample, embedded into the track of him saying that or whatever. So I didn't feel no type of way about saying it and doing it, especially when I looked at it from that aspect. There's way other songs that are probably seen as way more derogatory, using specific words. So, but yeah, that's what hip hop is. The ability to be able to say whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? And express yourself. That's exactly what it is. So I hold to that dearly.
I think that's awesome. I do. I mean, you've explained the song, you've explained the thought process behind it and why. I mean, it's real life and you expressing it. It truly is. It's real life. And it's a message. It's totally a message for you to get it, for those, women to get it. But I mean, I appreciate you expressing that. I really do, because it's true, and that's what hip hop is about. Expressing yourself, like you say.
Listen, if it don't apply, let it fly. You know what I'm
Let it
saying?
fly. That's right. That's right.
Don't
But
then
okay, and so tell me this then, because you have these messages. Why did you become a hip hop artist then? Why did you?
uh, in the beginning it was just I mean, it was fun, but it was that dream of like, damn, like I want to be like them. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Okay.
like I said, I started off as a fan, so the more I got engulfed into the life, I wanted to be like these dudes. You know, that I didn't see nothing that was cooler. You know, I did other things growing up. You know, I played sports and stuff like that. That I thought I thought I was gonna be in the NFL at one point, and you know, different things. You know, that had my attention at that moment. But nothing grabbed me and stuck the way the music did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no matter what was happening, no matter where I was at, no matter what I was going through, um, that was it. You couldn't tell me
Yeah.
nothing. You know what I mean? The excitement that came behind, you know, anticipating new releases, you know, or I remember, see now everything is wild digital, you know, you can push a button and your song is worldwide, you know, and things of that nature, or finding music, everything's on the computer. You know, when I used to, I come from a time like when you had to catch that hip hop station, you had to catch that show that day.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Or you was gonna
Mm-hmm.
be hurt until the next week, and then you don't even know what you missed unless a friend of yours heard the show that day and was able to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But you be
Mm-hmm.
sitting there with the pause and record button, trying to catch, you know, the songs. You know what I mean? They tell you it's coming. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
moving from that radio. You know, I don't even want to miss 1 second of the intro of that song coming on. And you know, and I, you know, that's how much I was in love with it. You know, and I just kept forming. And then, like I said, you know, once we started trying our hand at it, you know, we actually were a little better than none.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I tell you, I was reading about you and I was like, he's very intellectual. He has a story. I want to hear his story. My son, I'm gonna tell you, I know about hip hop, not just because of I have a son that's 36
Mm-hmm.
and he has indulged in hip hop. So I understand all of it. I really do. I understand my era when it first came out, and I understand his era. And so I definitely understand it. And there's a lot of messages, and there's a lot that's happening, and you express it through your music. So I think it's beautiful what you're doing. I really do. I think it's beautiful what you're doing. And that is, you know, just trying to connect with people, you know, on, like you say, if you can connect with it, connect with it. If you can't, then you can't, you know. But what I've learned through hip hop, through music, I can remember my husband, Life Jennings, he has a song. I cannot remember that song, but he has a song. And the song is about the streets, okay? It's about the streets. But my husband said to me one day, I went and bought the CD and I played that one song till the CD just back, you know, CDs back then, right? Till the CD just broke, right? And I went and bought another CD. And my husband was like, he refers to me as Jay. He said, Jay, what do you like so much about this song? He said, you just act like you be in a daze when this song come on. And he talking about dealing with drugs and women. And I was like, it's not about that. It's not about the people that he's talking about. I related it to my life and to my life, which has nothing to do with drugs or, you know, the streets or anything. But his message stuck with me, his message, and it was pain music. So I can relate to pain music. It was pain music, and it made me feel, it made me cry, it uplifted me. So if that's what your music is doing, you keep doing it. because that's what it did for me. You know what I'm saying? So it makes you better. It does. So you delivering music like that for people, keep delivering it, because I'm gonna tell you, that's what that music did for me. His music did for me, and many, many more. Now I don't know nothing about the streets like that. Never been in the streets, but I can relate to hip hop music, and I can make it relate to me and what I need it to be for me.
In your world, yeah, it's a vibe. You know,
Yeah,
and
in my
sometimes
world. Yeah.
you might not, like you said, that what actually is being said in the song might not have nothing to do with you, but that overall vibe sometimes it can just fits. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
Oh
It
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It does. 'Cause there's plenty of songs I listen to that I don't necessarily be on that time, but I don't know if it's the beat or the harmony or whatever it is, but it's just something about that. Yeah, it feels right. It sounds good. You know what I'm trying to say? Definitely understand.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
I've enjoyed the interview.
taking the time to take the time. I thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I want you to say how people can get your music and how they can reach you, and yeah.
Yeah, we outside. Your boy Live. I got a project out right now called I Was Born to Be Seen. That What Up Bitch record is actually on that project. The video is out now. We just shot another video for the second video, Ain't No Telling. That'll be out in a couple of weeks. We just shot that a couple of days ago. Got a couple videos actually this weekend. Another record called Overstand. So y'all make sure y'all tap in. You can go to the YouTube channel, NBDB TV, and subscribe, stay in tune with us. Follow me on all social media everywhere, LiveWire631, Instagram, Twitters, everywhere. Just Google me, LiveWire631. Tap in, follow me, stay in tune, be updated. But we moving, man. Your boy Live, we outside.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I like that. Live. Well, Raw and Uncut, we appreciate you being here. And this is your boy Live. And yeah,